They are expecting a massive crowd today here at the Rogers Center. They've been lined up since the early portion of the morning to celebrate the World Series champions of 1992. The first 15,000 receiving some pretty impressive bomber jackets. The stars of that year will be here in attendance and feted on the field. You'll see that coming up on Sportsnet. 30 years, really, it's been that long. Hey, we need another one of those banners here in Toronto at some point soon, don't we? Timlin to Carter completed the deal. Game 6 played at a stadium that no longer exists as the Blue Jays brought a World Series championship to Canada. And wasn't that a special time? We'll celebrate it today here on Sportsnet. I'm Jamie Campbell with Joe Siddall, who grew up in Windsor. I can tell you with certainty, when that out was made, I was in a bar in Halifax so joyously trying to flip a taxi cab over with about 20 people out on the street afterward. It was a nationwide celebration, Joe.
This building is electric today, and I think even for these former Blue Jays, they'll have a lot of fun watching these current Blue Jays, and what a pitching matchup we have this afternoon.
Well, that series was defined by good pitching. Consider that in that series, 3 of the starters ended up in the Hall of Fame. Jack Morris of the Blue Jays, and then Glavine and Smoltz of Atlanta. And consider that Jimmy Key started and won Game 4 and then came in relief in Game 6. He was the winning pitcher in the clinching game. He gave up a single run over 9 innings of work. So, speaking of great pitching, we have a modern-day matchup of elite hurlers. So let's set the scene with Hazel May down near the Blue Jays dugout.
Jamie and Joe, well, this afternoon, it's a pitching matchup baseball fans can only dream about. Alek Manoa for the home side. He is one of the American League candidates for the Cy Young Award, and as we've seen, one of the most gifted hurlers in the game today. He has already surpassed Juan Guzman for most strikeouts through 44 career starts in franchise history with 266. That's 6 more than Mr. Guzman. Manoa will try to outduel the Angels starter this afternoon, the reigning American League Most Valuable Player and 2-way international superstar Shohei Ohtani. Now, the matchup isn't lost on Manoa. He said about Ohtani, quote, "He's the most talented player in the game today, and it should be a lot of fun." And guess what? He's not the only one looking forward to this afternoon's marquee matchup.
It's definitely a high-power matchup for sure. Shohei being, one of the most exciting players in the world, and Manoa kind of making his name known in this league. So it's definitely going to be an exciting matchup for sure.
It's going to be electric, especially with Manoa bringing the energy every day. So especially Ohtani too, who is who can hit, who can pitch at the same time, and also both of the pitchers doing a really good job this year.
You want to get him in the zone. He has 3 to 4 plus pitches, and you got to hopefully try to wear him down, but he's a pretty good one.
You got to be pretty deliberate in your approach. You have to kind of adjust to what he's doing. We faced him a couple times and faced him earlier this year. Obviously, great fastball, great splitter, and you throw in a breaking ball, so you have to kind of gauge what he's featuring today and not miss any mistakes that he does make.
And a couple of notes to pass your way on the guys playing behind Alek Manoa this afternoon. George Springer makes a start in center field for the first time since coming off the IL with that elbow injury. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will be at DH, and Kevin Biggio will make the start at first base. Teoscar Hernandez, as you saw, left last night's game with that left foot contusion. He is not in the lineup. Instead, it will be one of the new Blue Jays, Jackie Bradley Jr., making the start in right field. That's it from field level for a jam-packed ceremony coming up, and you'll also hear my conversation with Jolton Joe Carter. Guys?
Wonderful, Hazel. Thank you so much. So you've got Shohei Ohtani. There are 2 players in Major League history who have 10 pitching victories and 10 home runs in the same season. Ohtani's one of them, Babe Ruth the other. Alek Manoa had a season high in strikeouts when he faced the Angels in Anaheim in late May, but that was about 1,000 pitches ago, so maybe there's a little more wear on the arm. What a matchup we've got here, Joe. And as Hazel mentioned, it's a lefty-heavy lineup for the Blue Jays, quite obviously.
John Schneider has his 3 left-handers in the lineup because Ohtani is especially tough on right-handers. The timing was right for Gurriel and Hernandez to get the day, and Vladdy's DHing. But I think with Ohtani, it's the high-powered fastball, that's one thing, but it's the secondary pitches that are so tough on righties. He'll cut it away, he'll use the slider away, and when you have to gear up for 97 to 100, these are especially tough, and that's why right-handers, we've seen this Blue Jays lineup struggle with these types of righties all season long, and at times, even some of the more mediocre type pitchers. But when you're gearing up for that, you have to look fastball. You can't sit on the secondary pitches. I expect these Blue Jays hitters, even though Ohtani does not throw a ton of fastballs, when you do get one, you don't want to miss it because you may not get a lot of them. And that's just the way it's way easier said than done. But if you're facing the elite pitchers in the game, he's got 5 different pitches. Sit on the heater and try to get it when it comes.
All right, so the ceremony is coming up in just a few minutes. Tomorrow on Blue Jays Central, we're going to tell you the story of the Blair brothers who suffered unspeakable anguish when their parents were killed in the Nova Scotia massacre over 2 years ago. Here's a preview of what you'll see tomorrow on Blue Jays Central.
A man suspected of opening fire in a rural Nova Scotia community, leaving multiple victims behind him. Investigators say the 911 call